Hey guys, and welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I am Quantum Coins, and you've called me here
So,
today, Stuart, to do an episode with you. So excited!
yes, it's
Gonna be
about
great.
uniforms, just so you know.
Oh, good. I like uniforms. Find out what sort of uniform we're talking about. Discovery. Is
Picard
Discovery.
It's a Picard uniform.
What's
Yeah.
that? What's that to talk about?
I mean, you've already kind of covered the one you're wearing. Just saying, there might be some new ones, plural.
But I got this one. What are you saying? I have to get another one?
You don't have to get anything.
Well, that's not a correct comment, is it? Of course. Oh.
We got a new sneak peek at Picard season 2, and
Yes.
there's a few more uniforms.
Yes, they have another variant. The season 2 has been a slight time jump, and Starfleet used the time to make another new uniform variant. After this one, after the flashback one, because they can't help themselves. But maybe they'll stay with this one finally. We have some breakdowns here today. This is our sort of first reaction analysis. When the show comes out, we get far more choice of screen caps and high resolution screen caps to do a full, more detailed breakdown. So I've had a few images that work but aren't as clear. The trailer isn't designed to show off the uniform, but I kind of did what I can. So here's the first review. Here's Raffi back in uniform, which she's best when she's in uniform, I found. And clearly the Rathacon strap is back. It's kind of the thing I'm taking away from this.
Yeah, and him being whatever he is of Starfleet, I forget. It's some weird title. Anyway, yeah, his badge seems very Rathaconish too. But no, I mean having that the flap, well, it looks like a flap, might not be, but the breakup there is very reminiscent of Lower Decks. A lot of people are going to make that comparison, and also to me the Rathacon. And I've even heard thrown out when we did the live about this the concept ones for Generations, which the Playmates actually started making the figures of with the very similar style. So it's definitely harkening back to a cool look. So
Yeah, and obviously those toys were one of the few concepts for Generations for the new uniform, which decided not to go for and then did First Contact instead. They just used the Voyager ones. But then Lower Decks based their uniforms off that concept with their own unique spin, and then etc. etc. So it's all kind of all based on each other, which is nice, in concept. I don't think I like the black turtleneck. I mean, I'm not really a fan of this either. The high-waisted half line. Like, I'd rather have I like the uniforms that have the nice coloured collar. I think that looks quite nice. But like a full collar, I don't know. Doesn't quite work for me. It feels a bit too black and white without being black and white, black and primary colour. It loses a bit of that identity, a little bit, by having that colour. What do you think?
it almost feels like something you'd see in yesterday's Enterprise or something.
Exactly. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I get that. I'm a fan of the cut. Like I do like the way it looks, especially with that stripe. But as for the collar, yeah, I think they could definitely modify that a little bit. But I'm not opposed to it either. It's also it's all right.
It's a gentle neutral. I will, though, give them a bit of a round of applause. These things, they were here for a year. Back up to the collar. Good stuff. Look,
And
a
they
ton
very
better.
easily, yeah, they very easily could have put it more towards the center on that line, past the flat part. And thank God they didn't.
Yeah. And comparing to this one, which is very straight, that one feels like a Voyager cut. Like, to me, that looks like a Voyager uniform, slice, neckline, kind of the construction, which I like, and the fabric even looks nicer. The next shot, though, is a hybrid of pictures, things I was noticing. Two of these shots are from the scene they released, and I specifically called out this long shot because you can see, for the first time in Trek canon since the movies, there is now a colour-based strip in the trousers, which means all those cosplayers have to get custom trousers made. But I'm sure it roughly matches the line of the jacket, but there's a Rathacon style trouser line.
That's interesting. I didn't notice that. And I assume you included this other picture because you can tell it isn't actually a flap. It's not just a detail on the front of the tunic, but it actually looks like a flap that could be pulled apart.
Well, it also just really highlights the other degree. Raffi's could be more like this, but that has a very Voyager vibe. There's the double colour line, which I don't think I like. It gives me more of a pajama feel with the neckline. Something about that. Not against it, but it doesn't have the sharpness of the flashback uniform, which has a lot of sharpness. This feels more pajama-y, like just that little bit. Something about the cut. At least they're all reasonably well fitted, unlike season 1 of Picard, where they clearly weren't. But it is a two-piece. I saw that as well in the trailer. They're actually somewhat baggy, the tops. They're not form-fitting and they're not a one-piece. These security.
Well, those are also background characters that probably die in 5 seconds, so...
Well, I mean, these...
How well fitted are they?
I mean, they're the hero security guards of this entire sequence. They're the guys running down the corridor. So they are the heroes that... They wouldn't be called background actors because they're foreground for a bit. But certainly they are secondaries. Or tertiaries even. But Raffi looks good.
Yeah, she does. I just don't think they're going to make 2 measurements uniforms for 3 security guards that are running down the hall. Personally. They would just have like random sizes that they would throw on them.
Well, we know they get murdered in the next scene. And then the ship blows up. So let's assume for a second they're going to be regular crew members, in which case you do tend to fit for like, okay, those guys will be in 4 episodes. That's their uniform then, and then other actors will then come into your uniform. So I could see that being more what we see here, especially a Vulcan who's now spends more time in makeup prosthetics. More likely he'll be given a fitted uniform, and by fit I just mean make a medium and then modify it for him. It's funny because that main security guy on the right hand side, the way his arm is, makes it look flat like this again, but you can see Raffi has a slice. God, angles do change the vibe, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why this is a first look and not a detailed look, because as we see the show, we'll probably notice a lot more things. So,
the next view, though, is very important. This is a shot of this uniform with that uniform, the one year comparison. And I also want to point out, this is from a 4K version of the Picard Season 1 that I was able to find. Never could see because it was never high-res enough. There's actually a trim black line on this edge that I have never seen ever. Because it isn't high... I blended in too much, which do I like? I don't know, but it is there. So yay for detail that couldn't even tell.
I kind of like it, honestly.
Here or there. It's definitely Nemesis vibes. Nemesis-y, just lost because it was black. Should have been a different colour of red. So what do you think now? You see them side by side, which isn't just my costume, side by side.
Using these 2 pictures, I definitely prefer Riker's. The other one does feel like very wait staff, working in the kitchen, pajamas, are all things that come to mind when comparing these 2. One seems more like a uniform, the other one seems more like just a wrap. It's a wrap, guys. We're done. That's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button. Goodbye. Wait.
Yeah, Riker obviously was a super late time, so he presumably didn't get a custom-fitted uniform, and then he had one modified. So the shoulder is not going to bend in like that. So it's not fitted for him. It wouldn't bend in like that. It's to the shoulder. But he does fit out quite well. You can see the bright silver pips where they are. The collar looks quite nice. But one thing to note is they've now, thank goodness, removed the deltas in the patterning. Because they were obnoxiously in the delta, and in fact there's 2 versions of this you can buy online, one with the patterning, one without. I choose the non-patterning because it just looks more like the Voyager one. And now they've gone back to the as it should be without the deltas, because it's just such an obnoxious thing to have the deltas. You just don't need it.
Yeah, and a lot of cosplayers complained about that because it made it way more difficult.
Yes. But the next picture, though, Stuart, is let's have the 3rd tier of evolution now. The other bonus invented costume, which is flashback costume, only invented for 1 scene and then some other little bits, because this was a reshoot. So that's the Raffi version. It's in time order, so it goes from Raffi a few years earlier into Riker, and then 1 year later into the new version.
Stop changing uniforms, guys. Jesus. I do like the one Raffi's wearing. I do like that. It's got a very unique look to it. But again, I still prefer Riker's out of these 3 if I had to wear one. I just don't like the cut of the color on Raffi's. I hate how it goes so far down on the arms. If it went more like the style of Riker's, I'd be more happy. But I don't know. The new one looks nice.
This is not the most flattering picture. In fairness, this is just the picture that shows the most detail. So I'm not going to hold it against it for that.
Yeah. The new one looks great in longer shots, and I mean the arms, the way the point is, I like that. It's not, like I said, it's far down as Raffi's, so I'm glad they moved away from that because it was just a little extreme. But
and what I can see here, and again knowing uniforms, the cut of the shoulders for Riker is a brand new cut, the way it's framed, whereas the new one is just the Voyager cut. the arms are blended in. It feels far more elegant in the way most of the old uniforms were. Riker stands out more as this is a thing, so it blends in better. Raf is a whole obviously different beast, although the cut is thematically similar to the Voyager, just going in a unique direction. And obviously, I've grown to love that one because of using it and seeing people in it. It has, that has more character out of the three by absolute mile. It feels like an interesting side evolution of Voyager, whereas the new one just feels like a Wrath of Khan slapped with TNG Voyager. At least the flashback feels like that's a concept. There is a concept in the other two. The middle one's just a Voyager with a collar and a bump. Plus, doesn't the old Combadge look a billion times better? The gold and the silver, and just the way the silver is, the lighter silver pops. The new Combadge, neither element pops really, and you can see in both versions it gets lost.
Yeah, we've had things to say about the Combadges and the uniforms before, so if you haven't checked out those videos, go check those out. But yeah,
let's go full Monty, Stuart. This next
new.
picture is a full breakdown, including, because what we looked at previously was the direct Picard evolution, but now in reality we've got the fact is this flap is making a hardcore resurgence. So now the evolutionary line, the flap is in. It's Prodigy, Picard, and Lower Decks all went full flap.
I like the flap. It definitely breaks up the look of a uniform, and the Lower Decks ones I really like. The new ones we see in Prodigy, I thought were quite nice looking as well. So I like that it's carried over to Picard somewhat. I don't know. I personally like the line and the stripe. How about you? Is it something that works for you?
They're all so different, all three of the lines, and how they're framed. Lower Decks is meant to look like a less important uniform and be a bit weird, so that's how it fits for me. The Prodigy is clearly a redressed, redesigned version of the future uniform, because we've done a comparison. It's very, very similar, just more TNG-esque, which I like. We haven't seen it properly in action. This new version feels like it feels like they took inspiration from the other shows, because they said, well, what are our sister shows doing? Flaps. Well, let's try and be consistent a bit, which is great. That's really laudable, and that's the three modern shows. It's just for me, the Voyager costume is perfection. The crispness of the shoulders, the undershirt, the way that is just crisp perfection. The TNG is more character, but not everyone looks good in it. Voyager is just perfection. So every time we iterate off the same style, it's like, but you already did it perfectly. So it's kind of hard to, it's like there's a 10 out of 10. So like the Riker one is like a 6 out of 10, and the new one is weird but interesting but different. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to get away from a perfect uniform. At least the flashback one is unique. It's thematically unique. But I do wish the collar was still there in the new one. I feel like that they should have kept the collar from Raffi's one. The goes up a bit higher, has the little slit in it. I think that would look nice. Helped. And then the silver pips would have popped out really well against the black. Because in fact, the black doesn't let the gold pips sing as well. Because normally have colours and etc. to let pop. Black and gold don't work quite as well with this. But the silver would have popped quite well. So it's interesting.
I'm just noticing that... one thing I want to point out before we end here, it looks like Riker's and Raffi's Combadges are different materials. I don't know if it's just the lighting necessarily, but we've got this one that's a matte kind of finish, which looks like yours.
Whereas the one you're wearing is very
this
shiny.
Is the Trekyards one, but it's shiny. I haven't hit it with the dull coat yet. Same one. I got another Picard one over there, which is more shiny too. But
no, you're very right, and that was only a complaint we had. Why you've gone chrome, whereas that is crisp and silver. No, but I do think it's dramatic lighting of a set versus they were inside a real building. The lighting is what you get. What do you guys think though? Because hell of a comparison. Yeah, comment what you guys think about the new uniforms. What do you think about the flap? Is this something that you approve of? Let us know in the comments. We love to hear your thoughts and have a good conversation down there with other Trekyardians. We have a good community. If you want to be part of that community, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell icon. Oh, you know what it needs? It needs that TNG red lining at the top of the neckline. That's what the new one. Yeah, that's what would fix it, I think. Oh, because then it would just be black fabric, like just a turtleneck. It would like end on a nice crisp line.
if you do the line, you need the little cutout like in TNG. I don't think just straight around the top and then yellow underneath it would look good. I think if you had the cutout at the front of the neck, then I'd go with a line. Otherwise, no. I disagree there.
Sorry, Stuart. Sorry.
What do you think about our decision-making process if we were designing uniforms? Put yours down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell icon so you don't miss any live discussions we have, because we love talking about stuff like this and many other things. So join us.
It's true. Discovery, Picard, Prodigy, Lower Decks, Strange Worlds, back to Lower Decks, back to Prodigy, back to Strange... It's a constant stream of goodness here. Oh my god, the scale difference. But support us if you can. All the content is free on delivery, so enjoy it, watch it. But if you can support us, join our live super chat, even $5. It makes a big, thankful difference. Or meet monthly at Patreon, or join the channel on YouTube, or one-time donation like the super chat, but on PayPal, which goes directly towards show costs and things like graphics. You've seen like Lower Decks avatars, etc. That's at trekyards@hotmail.com. It's the PayPal. And just subscribe, like you said, in all the free ways do help. So if you can, please do. And thanks in advance.
So until next time, guys. He is Commander Calkins. See, he's got pips, so I know. Even though they look a little crooked, actually. Bye, guys.
Bye.